Hey financial advisors, Jacob here. I wanted to create a video going over a bit about me, my background, and why I love working at Indigo as an account manager. A bit about me, my background's in finance and marketing. I've always kind of been drawn to helping people grow their businesses. And over the years, I've started a few ventures of my own, from content creation to e-commerce. This mix of experience is really what led me to Indigo. And I've been here for just under a year now, and I work closely with advisors to build out, marketing that actually fits their business, not just cookie cutter campaigns. So one that really stands out is I had one client, they serve a values alignment offer. Their offer is helping people align their values with their investments. And so I work with them to kind of find an audience that I thought would appeal to that. And so we came up with DEI focused people. And so we ran a DEI focused LinkedIn campaign. And over the span of a few months, we got them, I think, eight appointments. And then to this date, which is probably about 4 months, I would guess about 15 meetings booked from this campaign. We crafted a message that offered basically a complimentary portfolio analysis, framed around aligning investments with social principles, and then we ran it to a very specific audience. The cost per lead was super low because their only cost was LinkedIn Sales Navigator, $100 a month, and then our fee here at Indigo to run it. And it was really a great example of how a thoughtful message, paired with the right audience can really deliver. The conversion rates were really good. If you want more details on that, we actually have a YouTube video going over that on Indigo Marketing's YouTube channel. So if you're curious about the specifics of that and the actual numbers, check that out. Yeah, the numbers I listed there are just rough, but if you want specifics, go check that out. So my approach is honestly pretty simple. I love clarity. And I think that's what experts really do, is they provide clarity to their clients. And I think that's what the best financial advisors do. And I think that's what the best marketers do, is they really provide clarity and direction into where to go, and they really guide their clients. And so I really pride myself on doing that. So our approach is pretty simple. We just really get really clear on who your ideal client is, what they care about, and how your firm helps them. And then we basically build everything around that. So I have kind of a library of past successes of campaigns in my head. And I've seen a lot of success with different strategies that feel personal, consistent, whether it's educational emails, lead magnets, short video series. I kind of know what works for different audiences from doing this for a bunch of different advisors. And so I like to take that experience and then apply that to the individual advisor situation and in kind of their business, and see what I think would fit best for them. It's really not about doing everything. A lot of clients, they want to do TikTok, and they want to do, cold email, and they want to do all these different things. But it's really about doing the right things, based on our experience on what has been working, to, save you time and energy. And that's really where I see part of our value is helping our clients avoid those pitfalls. I try to take as much off their plates as possible. Most advisors, they don't want to spend hours thinking about subject lines or whether to post on LinkedIn or whatnot. For the vast majority of advisors, you want to just be doing what you're best at, and that's working with clients. And so I try to take as much of the marketing side off of your plate as possible, wherever possible. And so that's part of my philosophy as well. So I love to, ask good questions, understand how your business actually runs, get into the weeds of some things. And then pulling from the campaigns I've seen work in the past to, build something that really makes sense for you. I love to build relationships with my clients, by just basically being real with them. I listen first and then ask questions. I'm not afraid to say, I don't think that's the right move if something doesn't align with their goals. I also try to stay in regular touch, whether that's our bi-weekly meetings, quick email check-in. So we're always moving stuff forward, and, nothing feels like it's happening in a black box. What I really feel like sets our service apart from others is, there's a lot of people that do marketing, but what I feel like is we really offer this custom solution where I feel like I'm a chief marketing officer for some of my clients. And that's what one of my clients actually told me, is they feel like I'm their chief marketer in-house. That's honestly really the value that I see us play is, each financial advisor is so unique compared to the next one. There's different niches, and honestly, you got to market differently to those different niches. But really, that's why I think we're so valuable, is because I come in knowing what's worked for other financial advisors in the past, and then I apply that knowledge to my individual client situation to help them basically shortcut all the experiences and failures and successes that I have had in the past, they get to kind of jump to the front of that line to see what is working today for different advisors just like you. About why I love working with the Indigo team, the team's super supportive and open to new ideas. We all have different strengths. We're constantly learning, getting on calls. What's the latest in AI? What's the latest in email marketing? Whatever it is, we're always sharing the latest stuff. So you can be sure that, we're kind of on the cutting edge of what's happening in the marketing world. So, because you don't have time to keep up with that, but it's my job and we take it very seriously. And so, fun fact about me is that I'm a big fan of, YouTube and content in general. Fun fact is that I actually grew a YouTube channel to over 25,000 subscribers from zero while I was in university. To pretty much pay for my university tuition. So it's a fun little entrepreneurial thing. Taught me a lot about, capturing attention, keeping things simple, working with different team members. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Fun fact about me. If we're ever on a call, I'll show you the channel if you're curious. Outside of work, I love hiking, exploring. Being outside really clears my head and helps me reset. I'm inside grinding away all day on tasks, and I love it. But it's great to get outside and get some fresh air. A quick specific accomplishment that I'm pretty proud of. So one campaign that I'm pretty proud of is Google Ads campaign that we ran for one of my clients. We spent about $5,000 to date, and we ended up getting like a 3x return on the lifetime value when comparing the customer acquisition cost of that $5,000 to the lifetime value to that client. I was about a 3x return. And so, a large part of my job was tracking the different leads and making sure my client was following up, maximizing the value of every lead. And that's like with an LTV calculation of like 3 to 5 years. So lifetime value. So we basically say, how long do we expect this client to stay with us? What is the value every year? And so if that client stays for 10 to 20 years, then that 3x return jumps to a 6, 12x return. Just want to take a moment as well to share out our team here at Indigo and the culture. It's really a collaborative culture. One time I had a deadline coming up and was stuck on copy for a landing page. 2 teammates jumped on a quick call. We brainstormed it out for like 15 minutes, and stuff like that reminds me why I like working here. There's no ego, just a shared goal to help clients succeed. So yeah, that's a bit about me. If you have any questions or want to connect, shoot me an email, jacob@indigomarketingagency.com. I'd love to connect. Thanks.